in 2005, Son of the Mask was released to not the best reviews. It's considered one of the worst movies of all time. It's like 16th lowest rated on Letterboxd and 8th lowest on IMDb. But around the time when I was like 10, Son of the Mask was my favorite movie of all time. I don't think I've seen it since. Like, I don't think I've seen it in like 15 years or more. I've been very afraid of rewatching this movie because what if it is indeed that bad? But hey, anything for the sake of a video, time to ruin my childhood, I guess. So today I'm going to rewatch Son of the Mask. It's probably gonna be bad. So let's see. 92 minutes later. Okay, I just watched Son of the Mask. First time in a long time. And not gonna lie to you, it wasn't that bad. Like, obviously it has its flaws. I'm not gonna sit here and try to claim that Son of the Mask is just some misunderstood masterpiece. It's not. But the worst movie of all time? Nah, not even close. I'm assuming, I think, that the main things that people don't like about this movie are the writing, the humor, and I think I've seen also complaints about the acting, but especially with the acting, honestly, I don't get it. I think that the acting was pretty good. Jamie Kennedy playing the lead guy, he was great. He played very well the going crazy type. I thought he was great in the movie. And well, Alan Cumming is always great, no matter what the movie is. He always brings his A game, and I think he did so in here as well. The writing in the film, yeah, the script isn't that great, though apparently they had to cut out like 38 minutes of the first cut of the film. It was much longer. That definitely explains some of the weirdness of the script, the weirdness of the story, especially the pacing is very breakneck speed the whole way through. Like, it doesn't really slow down at all. It just barrels on and on and on. And yeah, the plot is a bit nonsense, but it's also fine. I think probably the biggest problem people have with this movie is the humor, because the humor is very big and broad. It's very crazy, stupid, silly humor, so I can understand definitely people not caring for that. I'm not gonna say that the humor is that great, like some of it hasn't aged the best, but honestly, for a crazy stupid comedy from 2005, the humor could be much worse. The whole vibe of the movie is just to be a live action cartoon, basically, so most of the humor comes from this animated style humor, like Looney Tunes or something. That's definitely a big reference point in this movie. The humor, I don't know, I was chuckling throughout the movie. There wasn't anything that hilarious or anything like that, honestly, but like, I didn't think it was annoying either. I didn't think it was too cringe or anything. It was thoroughly enjoyable. When I saw this as a kid, I thought that it was so funny. Like, the moment with the mask sperm, I thought was absolutely hilarious and just so wild. I thought that was amazing. Now watching it again, it's fine. People obviously also really dislike this movie because a lot of people still like The Mask, the original one. Back when I watched Son of the Mask many times, I did not see The Mask even once. I knew that there was an original film to this, that this was a sequel. I only watched the original movie then like years later, and I don't know, I didn't really care for it. I haven't seen it since, but I have absolutely no nostalgia or reverence for the original Mask. If I really thought that The Mask was a great comedy or something, then maybe, yeah, maybe then this would suck. But I've seen it only once, a long time ago, and I didn't think that much of it, so But okay, now that I've defended the movie quite a bit, maybe I should also say some things that I don't care for it. The biggest problem I have with the film, honestly, is probably just Tim with the mask. The design is not good. It's very unappealing. It really doesn't work. Like, the whole voice that he does is just
You can't find me if you're locked in a trunk.
like, obviously it is a fake voice. It's a ridiculous voice, but it sounds like a fake ridiculous voice. It just doesn't sound real. I don't believe in it. Him with the mask just kinda sucks. Luckily, it's mostly just the baby with the mask powers and the dog with the mask powers. Speaking of the baby, it's not the best looking baby. And I mean the CGI baby, especially when it's making more and more of these unnatural things. It just looks off, the skin looks so rubbery, but honestly, it's still miles better than whatever the hell it was in the last Twilight movie. Renesmee is the stuff of nightmares. And another thing would be the fact that the world of the movie already feels like a semi-cartoon world, or at least a world on the brink of being a cartoon. So then the mask doesn't feel that different in a sense. I think it would have been better if all of these weird camera angles and subjective things and dream sequences would have been brought in only once we have the mask in, and even then just in relation to the mask. But the thing that honestly sets this movie apart, the people making this movie clearly wanted to make this film. Like, the filmmakers behind this, they poured some actual goddamn passion into this film. Like, if you've seen any of these other sequels to old comedies in the 2000s, like Kindergarten Cop 2 with Dolph Lundgren, it's not good. It was so uninspired and tame and clearly just aiming for that name recognition and trying to bank off of that. But Son of the Mask, it's going for that cartoon in real world vibe, and I think it works pretty great. Like, you can see the influence of movies like Roger Rabbit especially. They really put effort into making as much of the effects in real world, so that just the character like the mask baby or the mask dog, they are just the only animated bits included into it for most times. Like when they're breaking stuff in the apartment or breaking through windows and such, like it's a practical effect that they then just put the CGI creatures on top or the cartoon characters on top. It really works. It makes it look so much more real for obvious reasons, and you can just see the actual craftsmanship. I mean, just looking at the cinematography, I'm not saying that it's good or bad, that's not even necessarily my point, but there's a vision behind it. There's character to it. There's all these fisheye lenses and crazy angles and zoom-ins and all kinds of stuff. There's some actual vision behind this thing. It's not just homogeneous, basic shot, reverse shot, wide shot. There's actually an idea behind it. You can see that the director really was caring about this movie and putting an effort into making it cool, making it stand out, make it visually interesting. I mean, today's Hollywood blockbusters, they're quite boring looking, a lot of them. Everything's shot in these green screen studios or the volume or something like that, and it just never looks like people are actually anywhere. They're just in these weird CGI places that don't look real, they don't look tangible. Everything's just made in post, not in camera effects. And I'm not saying that you can't use CGI, of course you can, like that's not the point, but the over-reliance on it has really made a lot of modern movies just look very dull and boring. Son of the Mask from 2005 with a budget of I think $80 million looks better than, I don't know, any Marvel movie. All of them look worse compared to it. And they have, I don't know, at least 100 million more budget on each of them. And this movie, the most hated movie of all time, looks better, has more imagination in the filmmaking. That's kinda sad, honestly. Of course, there's a lot of creativity in movies these days as well, but especially any of these bigger movies, they just look kinda dull. They're just kinda there. It's fine, there's nothing wrong with it per se. Not every movie has to have crazy visuals and look like Scott Pilgrim or something, but there's something great when a movie really strives to have its own identity. It really tries to have its own style and energy and vibe. I much prefer that, even if it doesn't work that well, than just the basic gray thing that everybody's doing. Much rather have a big swing and a miss than just not swing at all and just make a carefully planned product to maximize profits. That's lame. This wins every time in that regard. At least there's effort and love and just... it's just something, you know? It's its own thing. It's something different. It's something unique. It's, dare I say, art? It's art. All movies are art. And at least some of them dare to do something with it. They dare to be something, for better or for worse. So, well, turns out rewatching this movie now, it didn't ruin my childhood, surprisingly. I'm just a bit confused why people hate this so much. I can understand most people not caring for it, but the worst movie, one of the worst movies of all time, just feels so excessive for a movie that it feels like people actually made this. It doesn't feel like just complete garbage. There's actual craftsmanship and work put behind it, and it almost feels refreshing in this day and age to have at least this amount of effort put into a movie and really like just love put into it. I'm not exactly sure if I would necessarily recommend Son of the Mask to anybody to actually watch it, but if based on my description of live action cartoon made with actual effort, then I'd recommend it. I mean, obviously, first watch like Who Framed Roger Rabbit and Back in Action and such, but if you care for these live action cartoon type movies, Son of the Mask, honestly, you could do a lot worse than Son of the Mask. Don't watch Space Jam, the original or the new one. They both suck. Who cares about those? Honestly, it's not that bad. It's not that bad of an option. It's fun. I think so, at least. And join me next time as I talk about my favorite movie, Midnight in Paris. No, I don't want to talk about that one.